Happy Sunday to all you fantasy baseball people. I'm Jason Gilbo here at Fantasy Baseball Cafe. Another Sunday means I'm taking a look at the pitching preview for the week and breaking down some. It's a pretty tricky week for two-start pitchers. Kind of a lot of one-and-dones. A couple guys facing the Giants, which is always kind of a tough matchup for them. They've been kind of really teeing off on the aces around the league, so still trotting those guys out there, but definitely going to be mentioning them a little bit here. Also taking a look at some streamers for this week, going day by day, a couple waiver wire ads, and always capping it off with some injury news heading here down the stretch, which we got some good news on some guys like Pineda and Burnett, starting to throw in and throw some bullpen sessions, so great news for those guys there. Breaking down two start guys this week, you got Garrett Cole, Michael Wacha, Cole Hamels, Francisco Liriano, all going for two starts among the aces. Going to fire them up as usual, even though guys like Michael Wacha, Liriano are both facing the Giants. Hamels is facing the Mariners, who hit him pretty well, and also he will be facing the Tigers, who have Miguel Cabrera back. I'm a little worried about Hamels right now. He's allowed 23 earned runs in the four starts around the no-hitter, and he just hasn't looked good. I'm gonna be rolling out there. You know what he can give you there, so kind of is what it is. You got to deal with it right now and keep trotting him out there. So a couple one and dones this week, or quite a few actually. Jordan Zimmerman heads to Coors. Not going to even touch him there. He's going to stay on the bench for me. He's just not good enough to rely on to keep offense in check in Coors, especially the ones of the Rockies, who are just a different ball club. Also, Trevor Bauer, Danny Salazar both draw questionable matchups this week, both taking on the Red Sox and the Yankees on the road. I'll probably deal with the Red Sox offense. I don't quite know if I can handle them in Yankee Stadium. Both guys can give up the long ball, have trouble, keeping the walk rate down. So putting up those two, that's a tough duo. Like I said, the Sox have been hitting pretty well. Putting up another 6 runs today. After a massive stretch, but they were facing some pretty bad pitching outside of Felix Hernandez, who they just teed off on. So still makes it a risky start for both of them for both starts. But if you're trying to tread from behind, they're probably worth being in your lineups. Also, Taijuan Walker for Seattle, been up and down a lot this season. Going to Texas to face the Rangers. I don't like that matchup for him at all. Ground ball rate's not that good. Home run prone, going to face a ton of lefties with power, and they've been hitting the ball very well. So I'm sitting him for that one. He will face the White Sox at home in his second start later in the week, so not a bad option there. I'll definitely be rolling him back out. Taking a look at Chris Heston, going to head on the road for both of his starts this season, or for this week, sorry. Going to play in 2 bigger parks with PNC and Busch Stadium, so that's nice. Coming off a nice July with a 1.57 ERA, really bounced back after a tough start, but now he faced the Astros, held them in check, went deep into the game there. I like Heston for both those starts as well. He's going to stay in my lineup. My boomer bust play of the week here, 2 starts, Carlos Rodon for the White Sox. Another guy, crazy high strikeout upside, but the walk rate is insane. Sometimes he's laying pitches too heavily over the plate, and hitters are just teeing off from the right side. But he held the Angels in check for 7 scoreless innings, 11 strikeouts. He will take on them again in LA, and then he will head to Seattle. 2 very mediocre offenses. I'm gonna go out and pick him up for both starts, especially if I'm down in strikeouts. I will take the risk there. 24.4% strikeout rate this season, so you know what you're going to get from him. He's got a really nice swing and strike rate as well. Really pretty cut and dry this week for 2 start guys. Not a lot I'm liking to pick up for both starts, and there's quite a few one and done guys there. So a bit of a tough week. So we should see a better week next week with aces and among guys you can pick up and stream. So looking ahead Monday, looking at guys we can stream. Matt Garza facing off against the Marlins, who are now down without Christian Yelich, so the offense is just abysmal on the lineup. It should be a matchup that even Garza can hold, even though he hasn't been that great this season. So definitely work a streamer there. If Andrew Heaney's out there in shallow leagues, he'll take on the White Sox, who rank bottom 3 against left-handed pitching on Monday. So a nice option there. He's been pitching very well. Tuesday, looking at Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers, or for the Yankees, sorry, facing the Twins. Not a lot of lefties to give him a problem, which has been his weakness so far throughout his career. Other than that, not a lot going on Tuesday. Wednesday, we got some options. Willie Peralta is going to take on a pretty miserable Miami Marlins team there, and he should be able to handle well. Really struggles from the left side, but really no one should give him any trouble there in Miami. And then looking ahead, R.A. Dickey's still out there, very serviceable this season, holding teams pretty well, pitching deep into games. Faces the Phillies. I really like him there. If he's out there in your league, pick him up for a start. And I'm definitely been a guy who picked him up in the early July, and he's been working pretty well for me. So he's got some nice upside with the strikeouts. If the knuckleball is working and the Phillies offense up and down, but they've been better of late, but still going with the track record, they've been pretty awful. Ubaldo Jimenez, risky play, but has some upside against the Mets at home there, so I like that on Wednesday. Looking at it Thursday, Kyle Hendricks facing off against the Braves, mediocre offense without Freeman, so you got like Hendricks and the Red Hot Cubbies. Also, Matt Schumacher back at home, bigger park, struggled a little bit, but has been pitching pretty well beforehand, especially in the strikeouts. Probably in the midst of a lot of ad drops right now because people don't know what to make of him. So if he's out, then you really got like streaming him against the White Sox. Friday, Chris Bassett taking on the Rays, who have struggled against right-handed pitching. I mentioned Bassett as a waiver wire pickup last season. Love him in the bigger ballparks. He's got a nice strikeout stretch going. Pitched well even in Baltimore after just facing him at home. Went deep into the game and allowed 3 earns, so not a bad start by any means there. Also, John Lackey maybe floating around the league. He will head to Petco. They are fresh out of the Rockies. So once again, the team that you can target against is the Padres. Saturday, Dan Herron's going to face that same Braves team as Hendricks did, and Carlos Rodon in that Mariners start. If you're going to pick him up for one, I do like him better off against the Mariners. So Sunday, not a lot going on the end of the week there. Just a lot of top pitchers going and some low-end options and bad matchups. So nothing going on for Sunday. I mentioned Chris Bassett last week. Still not a lot of big movement in additions around ESPN, Yahoo, and CBS. So through another great start, I would imagine him being on the move a little bit more frequently, this week. So definitely a guy I'm grabbing. If you're looking to stash a guy for September, Drew Smyly, going to get his feet wet over here over the next couple of weeks from the DL trip. Could be a nice addition down the stretch for fantasy. 3.39 in 2014. Really found his game with the Rays because he was pretty bad with the Tigers. So they turned out pretty well with him. Going ahead into the playoffs, I like Smyly as a back-end option for the Rays there. And as well as John Neese, another lefty, pitching very well. Obviously, you're going to skip his start in Coors this week. Nice 55% ground ball rate going this season. Pretty solid numbers, 3.50 ERA. Good to see what they do with Matz coming back from the DL in September, but I would guess Neese would keep his spot. And a guy that's kind of middle of the league or middle of the road owned, Mike Leake for the Giants. Really like his value going there with San Francisco, and the hamstring should be no issue at this point. Looking at the Jose Fernandez news here, taking a look at some injuries. Still not sure if he's going to pitch. The cloud has not cleared on where he's going to be for the rest of the season. In redrafts, you're still worthy of a DL spot if you have it open, just in case he does come back and gives you those starts towards the end of the season in the playoffs. Like I said, Matt's on the way to rehab. Going to probably take 2 to 3 rehab starts to get him back, and then we'll see what they do. Good news here with A.J. Burnett, going to begin throwing off a mound this week. Really like to see some good movement moving to a rehab start into late August. That way we can get a look at him, early September and get him for the playoff stretch because he's going to be a big part of the teams here coming down the wire. And wrapping up with Michael Pineda, through a bullpen sesh, is going to throw another one with a heavier workload this week. Could see him start to work back at a better pace with possibly an end of August, early September likely return there. So good news. So that'll be it, and I'll see you next Sunday.